beautiful day again, guys, after a scorching day yesterday in Lancashire. A lone soldier out on the run. The early bird catches the worm. Get up, get out of bed, go for another 4 miles smashed today. Nice and steady, always grinding daily. Saturdays, Sundays, Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays and Friday.
What's going on, people? It's your man the YB, and off the rip, your man the YB he must salute Alex O right now for coming through with A1 sponsorship. You best believe it. This 4K, listen. What we know is the people must see the YB in 4K. And my dog, Alex O came through and boosted up your man the YB camera resolution 100%. Anywho, we got some breaking news regarding your man's Tyson Fury. And I can't lie to you, it's looking super duper bad for certain cats right now. That's what you best believe. Now, I did a video on this, and I gotta admit, my hands have got to go in the air a little bit. I do feel a little bit responsible for what potentially has gone on. Yeah, you man who follow the channel religiously will know. I put a video out probably 2 weeks ago now, taunting the US federal government. I said, oops. Yeah, bear in mind, 2 weeks ago Tyson Fury was pictured in Miami. So I put a video out saying, listen, Tyson Fury can't be touched. Anyway, 2 weeks later, you see this video right here, and we're about to get into the exclusive news. That's what we are about to do, 100%. Yeah, let's cut to it right now. So, there I am, minding my business, and Tyson Fury, Mr. Tyson Fury. So there I am, minding my business, and some hot news come through on the blower, yeah, on the presses, hot off the press. And this is a breaking news article from about 24 hours ago. Tyson Fury is refused entry to the US due to links with Daniel El Trapper-Han, Europe's #1 trap god. The heavyweight champion was previously managed by the Irish gang boss. It goes on. Nicola Talent. This article's by Nicola Talent and Neil Donald. Yeah. World heavyweight champion Tyson Fury was refused entry to the United States tonight because of his former ties to the crime boss Daniel El Trapper-Han, KINAHAN, Europe's #1 narco-trafficante. It is believed the WBC world title holder was not allowed into the country earlier tonight by US or was declined entry by US immigration officials. Fury was stopped as he tried to board on a flight in the UK. Last month, Assistant Garda Commissioner John O'Driscoll confirmed more than 600 alleged El Trapper-Han lieutenants with links to the KINAHAN leader have been barred, from entering the United States by American authorities. Speaking during a trip to the US, Mr. O'Driscoll said sanctions prohibiting travel to the US had been placed on several hundred individuals due to their connections with the KINAHANs, including large numbers involved with professional boxing. Businesses associated with boxing in particular and its connections with the US are of particular focus for the US authorities. The list of 600 includes a large number of boxers who are not involved in crime, such as Tyson Fury, but have worked with Daniel KINAHAN in his capacity as a promoter or manager. Fury is the second high-profile former MTK Global Syndicate, MTK Global Cartel graduate to discover at the last minute he would not be allowed on a US flight. In April, Sky Sports pundit and former friend of El Trapper-Han, Matthew Macklin, was stopped from travelling to the United States because of his links to the crime boss. The former world title contender was on his way to Las Vegas this week to cover an upper featherweight unification fight between Shakur Stevenson and Oscar Valdez. However, he was not allowed to board his flight at a London airport amid scrutiny from the US authorities into those with past or present links to KINAHAN. Sky Sports, however, have declined to comment on Macklin being refused entry to the US, but told Sports Mail in a statement Matthew Macklin relinquished his interest in MTK in 2017 and has no commercial dealings with Europe's #1 trap god, Daniel KINAHAN. Tyson Fury, who was previously advised by the Dublin-born mob boss, Mob General, also stated that he was not involved with him when asked if they had any business together. Zero, absolutely zero, he exclaimed. That's none of your business, and none of anybody else's business, I don't think, is it? Fury said. My business, yeah? My business, my trap is my trap. Your trap is your... It's fair play, listen. Listen. If Fury's going to be running one of the A1 traps, you best believe that's his own trap. Yeah? 100%. MTK Global, the boxing promotions company founded by Daniel KINAHAN in 2012, also ceased operations, citing unprecedented levels of unfair scrutiny and criticism. It came just one day after Bob Yallen stepped down as the CEO for personal reasons. Legendary promoter Bob Arum previously revealed he had paid millions in consultancy fees to stop Daniel KINAHAN from touching him. Yeah? For fights involved, that was what you call extortion, 100%. He had to pay rent, that's what he had to pay. Arum recently revealed he had paid KINAHAN more than $1 million for each of Fury's 4 bouts against Tom Schwartz, Otto Wallin, as well as both of his fights with Deontay Wilder. Veteran boxing promoter Arum, who founded Top Rank promotion company in Las Vegas, acts as Fury's promoter in the US. BT Sports have screened Fury's fights in the UK, but insist they have no commercial links to Arum or Top Rank. But now, the company are said to be doing increased due diligence on previous transactions around the boxer. Fury and British-based promoter Frank the Fish Eyes Warren have maintained they have no knowledge or involvement in any payments from Arum to KINAHAN, and there is no suggestion of wrongdoing by either. So there we go then. Essentially, there weren't really outside of the initial thing about Fury being refused today, they spent more time waffling about old things. We've been known Macklin, and no one trying to hear about Macklin anyway, but we've been heard all that old ass news. I guess they got to bulk out the article with something. But as it pertains to Tyson Fury, what you'll notice is I included it at the start of my video, and in fact the title of this video will most likely be Tyson Fury breaks silence after being refused journey, after being rejected by US Customs, after being detained. Why is that relevant? Well, I'm thinking Tyson Fury's jogging. I'm not going to lie to you. At this particular point in time, let's not forget, people, when Michael Benson was putting out rumours that Tyson Fury was returning to the ring, guess what? Tyson Fury, within 24 hours, was all in the video disputing that. My point? Well, you saw at the start of this video, at the start of my video, you've seen videos from Fury in the last 12 hours. The point is, Tyson Fury has been active on social media, and he hasn't said anything about this. Again, relevance? Well, why wouldn't, if Tyson Fury is prepared to comment on whether he's retired or not, which no one really cares about as such, would he not comment on being rejected from customs or not being allowed entry to the US? Where am I going with that ultimately? Well, I'm skeptical of this article, truth be known. Listen, if it comes out it's true, it's true. But I am kind of skeptical. Number one, as I mentioned earlier at the start of the video, 2 weeks ago, I did a video and Tyson Fury was already in Miami. Again, if he's already in Miami, how these things work? When the feds shut you down, you're shut down. You don't get in and then 2 weeks later you get rejected. Bear in mind, this whole thing went down in April. It's been 2 months. If Tyson Fury was on any list, I'd assume he'd have been stopped the first time. And it's not as if it was a quick trip there. Tyson Fury went to Miami 2 weeks ago with his whole family, about 10 man deep. And he got in. Yeah? How it works is, if you're on the no-go list, you're on the no-go list. It's not a case of, well, let him in, he's with his family, and next time. Plus, like I said, the information around these allegations. We know Tyson Fury is in Morecambe, running, and he was at the park earlier today or stuff like that. My point is, in the last few days, yeah, Tyson Fury's been running around, jogging, all in the UK. So I'm thinking they're saying he's been rejected from a flight. I haven't seen him. And listen, he may have has he nipped to the airport and been rejected in between? Possibly, but for the most part, his routine's pretty stable. He goes running in the morning, he does things in the afternoon, but I'm thinking to myself, when has he had time? I guess it wouldn't take long, would it? Although they didn't specify, when was he actually rejected? Was he rejected on the plane in the UK, or was he rejected in Miami? Because there's no way he's flown to the US and then been rejected. Because that would mean he'd have to be off social media for 24 hours as such. Yeah, that hasn't been the case. So I'm thinking, when exactly has this happened? Now, it is possible. Is it possible that Tyson Fury, number one, is purposefully not talking about this? Has he nipped to the airport and been rejected? And I understand that there's an argument where YB, he might want to comment on he might publicly comment about his fake news retirement, but it's a bad look. He wouldn't necessarily publicly comment, would he? Oh, the feds have just locked me up for 12 hours. So he wouldn't necessarily comment on it anyway. But like I said, the circumstantial evidence, I mean, what have they got? How does she know this? Bear in mind, we know he's already been there 2 weeks ago. Now, is a possibility that Tyson Fury has saved old videos. Is it possible that 2 weeks ago, that trip to Miami was old? I don't know. I'm not in Fury's knickers as such. It's possible he went to Miami 2 months ago or 6 months ago and he's posting old videos. But facts, 2 weeks ago, it was implied Tyson Fury was in Miami. He was putting videos out jogging, and he was putting videos out on a yacht with his family. Yeah? So he was there. Again, unless he's saving and posting out fake videos. But in fact, can you post old videos on a story? Don't stories have to be live videos? I'm not sure, but obviously some of you Instagram fiend Donnies can confirm that. But I'm pretty sure you can't post old videos to stories. If that's the case, we know he's in Miami 2 weeks ago, and therefore this whole story is brought into question. Now, to be fair to Nicola Talent's this journalist who has a huge hard-on for KINAHAN. She's honestly, if all the journos, Nicola Talent, she proper has a raging lob on. Proper 9-incher, full of veins, 9B, not 100%, big bulbous, thick, girthy thing she's got for KINAHAN. That's what it is, people. I ain't gonna lie to you. Yeah, if Nicola Talent had a pencil ting for KINAHAN, I'd tell you, that's not the case. Nicola Talent, there's nothing pencilly about what Nicola Talent has for KINAHAN. She has a raging, engorged hard-on for KINAHAN. So, relevance, well, if anyone's going to be overzealous and hoping for bad things to happen, it's going to be Nicola Talent. Yeah, and bear in mind, like I said at the start, she spent all this time talking about everything but this news story. Yeah, in my opinion, if you're going to break the news story, Tyson Fury declined, give us some more meat on the bones. At least a date. Tyson Fury was declined at 6 p.m. on so date. At least give us some details. There was no details of when. No details at what airport, which leads me to believe, what information has she actually got? Because if you had a leak from customs, or if you had a leak from an airport or something, maybe some airport agent reached out and whatever. If you had a leak, you'd have the date, you'd have the airport, and you'd have a bit more meat on the bones. The fact she spent the whole article, 99% a part of apart from the title really, was waffling about old ass news. Yeah? And to be honest, the fact that she is so hard for KINAHAN and for Fury to some extent, I think she really should have done a bit more digging and explained the evidence to the contrary. For example, in my opinion, in this article, she should have answered, well, Tyson Fury was pictured in Miami 2 weeks ago. These guys follow this kind of, obviously, like I said, she got a huge hard on. If you've got a huge hard on for KINAHAN and Fury, yeah, you'd know he was posting social media stuff out 2 weeks ago in Miami. If I know it, and I'm not a paid journo, these guys are paid, Nicola Talent's paid to keep stroking, you know what I mean? Nicola Talent's paid to keep her ting engorged for KINAHAN. Now, when you're engorged, you're soaking in all information, but you missed that one, and then you give her some dead article. So I'm sorry, for me, the jury's out on this one. Number one, Fury can't keep his mouth shut for long, so I can't wait to hear what he's got to say about this. But again, he has been active on social media since, and I haven't seen anything. On there. For example, he might have said, "Oh, I'm going to Miami," or "I'm going to the US with a family." Fair enough, yeah. If we'd have seen in the last few days Fury saying, "Oh, I'm going so and so with a family. I'm going to the US with a family," and then we hear this story, that makes sense. I haven't heard nothing about that. In fact, all I've seen him doing is his normal routine. In fact, actually, no, this is fake news. Tyson Fury put a video out yesterday on Friday night watching Nathan Gorman box. Nathan Gorman scored a knockout win over some bum, and Tyson Fury was there in the crowd, and that was Friday night, the same night this article came out. So are you telling me Tyson Fury was supposed to go somewhere on the Thursday or Wednesday, and then spun it into going to see his cousin Gorman? I don't think so. Most likely, Fury's going to go and see Gorman, and then go on holiday. So this whole story for me, when you actually look into it, when you start breaking it down, is super duper sus in my opinion. I'm not sure, again, fair enough, yeah, if Nicola Talent, aka Miss Lobon, if Miss KINAHAN Lobon had given us some meat on the bones, it gives it more weight, but no meat on the bones, and then the circumstantial evidence around it is weak. It's not even weak, it's purely contradictory, yeah? Fury is at Nick Gorman. I'm not getting Nick. I'm not sure whatever his name is. Gorman. Yeah. Tyson Fury was at Gorman's fight in the crowd, and that was on Friday. So when was this? And like I said, when you become an experienced journo, yeah, in journo school they teach you and train you to do certain things as standard. It's like the 5 W's: what, where, when, how, and all that kind of rubbish. Yeah? What, when, where. She missed the when, she missed the where. It's like the basic. The 5 W's or whatever, they're the basics. They're the bare bones basics. Yeah? I'm pretty sure some journalist schools say if you don't have the 5 W's, it ain't a story. Do you understand? That's the basic kind of. Again, if you ain't got the where and the when, what have you got? Tyson Fury was rejected from the. Okay, cool story, bro. But it brings the whole news article, in my opinion, into question. There's no meat. There's contradictory evidence. Heaps of it as well, and she hasn't answered any of it. Yeah? In fact, this article just leaves us asking more questions. I think, to be honest, and if I'm wrong, I'll put my hands in there, but I think, to be honest, this is more to do with Talent hoping. Yeah? I think she's hoping. Because guess what? She had nothing to say 2 weeks ago when he was in Miami. Facts. Yeah? It'd make more sense if she came out today saying, "Oh, Tyson Fury put fake videos out 2 weeks ago." But this is poor, very poor, because she could have done a basic search on YouTube, no doubt, and seen Fury partying in Miami. Oops. And it's supposed to be that's not how, I'm sorry, but the feds don't work like that. The feds ain't going to say, the feds will take you down in front of your wife and kids. The feds ain't going to say, "Oh, well, Tyson Fury's on our ban list, but look, he's with his kids. Let's let him off this time and get him the next time." That's not how it works. They'll drag you down and put their foot on your neck. In fact, they'll probably wrestle your kids as well. That's what the feds will do. So very poor journalism. I'm not involved in the whole Irish kind of media thing, but I have heard on the grapevine that Nicola Talent, she's renowned for this kind of thing. She's renowned for this proper being hard for Kinahan. That's it, to a fault. And I understand sometimes, yeah, when you have a raging lob on, it can distort your mind. What do they call it? Post-nut clarity. Yeah, post-nut clarity is a phenomenon. Once you've nut, things come. You start thinking straight again. It seems to me that Nicola Talent has been waiting so long to bust. Yeah, and for her, bussing will be when Kinahan gets locked up. But I guarantee you, yeah, if and when Kinahan gets locked, Nicola Talent will be able to bust, and then she'll start, oh damn, that was wrong, that was fake news. And I'm hate to break it to you, man, yeah, but this for me, if the odds are saying right now, this is some Nicola Talent fake news, yeah, and if it turns out the other way, so be it. But I find it hard to believe Tyson Fury has been rejected, and then there's no time discrepancy. Tyson Fury literally has been posting every few hours for days now. Where was this period of time when potentially he would have had to been on the plane, travelled? I mean, it takes 8 hours, 10 hours to get to the US. So for Fury to get on a plane, plus the travel time there, plus the time packing or whatever, plus the taxi on, so all that time, he would have to be off for 24 hours. Oh, and by the way, he went to see Nathan Gorman as well. Oops. Dead story, man. Dead. I'd bet against the story being true. However, if it is true, it's peak. Now, she did drop a bit of new information. She mentioned about the 600 cats who are down bad with allegedly Tyson Fury. That is a lot of people. If it is 600 people, it would make sense that Fury is one of them. However, Uncle Sam, money talks, yeah? So, to be honest, if anyone is not going to be on the list, it'll be Fury. Why? He's paying millions in taxes, yeah? People like Matthew Macklin, who are marginal dons. Uncle Sam don't care about Matthew Macklin. Tyson Fury, obviously, the US government is a billion-dollar organisation, but still, Uncle Sam, money, we've been know this, money talks, yeah? The top lawyers, and a lot of these lawyers, they have connections. Top lawyers aren't really about what they know. It's not about IQ. Top lawyers about, oh, I went to school with that prosecutor. We can make a deal. Yeah, we'll have a drink and we'll talk about it. And a lot of these prosecutors make deals. They'll say things like, okay, let Tyson Fury off the list, and this other bum I've got in another case, I'll give you him. I'll let you give him 30 years, and if you let Tyson, that's how they work it. It's all about deals. Yeah, 100%. So, if I was to bet, I think Tyson Fury, I think there probably is a couple hundred people on the list, because we know Matthew Macklin. Matthew Macklin, he was the namesake of the gym, but still, Matthew Macklin is what we call disposable. He ain't bringing, Uncle Sam ain't checking for Matthew Macklin. So we know the list is likely plentiful. But if anyone has been able to avoid getting on the list, it will be Tyson Fury, in my opinion. Not that Uncle, listen, we've seen all the rappers and whatnot, don't get me wrong, if you're involved in blatant criminality, you're gonna get Uncle Sam, unless it's the government doing it, that is, yeah, obviously, if Uncle Sam wants to do some criminality, then it's all fair, it's all, you know what I mean, but if you're a celebrity and you're involved in criminality, you best get a big, nice, large pot of Vaseline and lube yourself up for Uncle Sam to pop you in the butt. Yeah, 100%. But outside of that, if you're on the fringes, 9 times out of 10, Uncle Sam will give you a nod if you're connected, like Fury's connected. If you've got the top lawyers and you're bringing in that nice fat tax cut. Now, one thing I did speculate on the other day was, has Tyson Fury been paying his taxes? We don't know this. Speculation, but that's one of the key ways in criminal investigations Uncle Sam gets you. Yeah, that's how they got Al Capone. They can't always connect you to crime, but they can connect you to, wait there a minute, you got 20 million in real estate and you ain't paid no taxes. Oops. At which point they tell, and taxes is one of the biggest, you don't pay taxes, you go in jail 5-10 years. Yeah, the feds will give you a quick 10-piece for real quick. Look at Wesley Snipes, perfect example. He got about a 7-piece. Madness. No one hurt in the crime. Yeah, Anyway, but yeah, listen. Let's see how it plays out. Nicola Talent's the first one to put some fake news out there. Is it fake? We don't know. We'll find out though. And one thing for sure, it makes things semi-exciting. Usually they say there's no smoke without fire. I mean, and whatever we say, yeah, Nicola Talent's renowned for having a bit of a hard-on for KINAHAN, but 9 times out of 10, she's normally quite reputable. I don't think she'll be putting things out there for nothing, but this will be one of the key tells for me. I've never directly interacted with Nicola Talent, so if, for example, this turns out to be BS, then this will confirm that she really is just reckless. She's recklessly hard, 100%, no doubt.